Hello, everybody. It's the Worm, and welcome back to Steins Gate. Last time was a pretty significant episode in more ways than one. Well, let's just start with the big reveal. Turns out, yep, Suzuha is John Tidor. I mean, I'm not necessarily surprised by that. She was pretty much the biggest suspect that we had. Especially considering Moeka Moeka was revealed to be a CERN agent. So yeah, but it's good to finally get that revealed. So now, it just comes down to what does that mean, both for her character and for us. What can her being John Titor, what does that mean for all the interactions that we've had with John Titor online? Now I'm thinking back to, remember there was a certain moment where John Titor stopped posting online. Did that coincide with her trying to find her father and not finding him? I need to check that, actually. And I also did go back to check. Yes, this was something I should have written down at the time, but I guess it just slipped my mind. But yes, Beryl Titor is the name she gave for her father. So I don't know why I forgot that, and I'm not sure why I forgot to write it down, but I've got it written down now. So that's why I was a bit confused when that name was mentioned. So, yeah, I guess we'll talk more about Suzuha first. Something that's very interesting is when we found her in the time machine, which is, I mean, that's what the satellite is now. It's a time machine. There were two numbers on it. And, well, obviously they're dates. We had two dates. And it was August 13th, 2010, which is today. And the second date was August 13th, 1975. So, I suppose my... So I've been trying to think about this, and I'm still a bit confused. I'm trying to think this through. I'm thinking that might be... She might have been trying to jump to 1975 from now. At least that's the first thought that entered my head there. And that raises a lot of questions. You know, what happened in 75? I don't think we've heard that date before. It's interesting that it's to the day. You know, it's not just it's not just the year. It's the same day, August 13th. So I'm curious, very curious about what happened at that time that she would want to go back there. And of course, why does she want to jump back there after having overheard our conversation? Because that seems to be what caused her to do that. And of course, there's the other thing that I mentioned at the end of last episode, which is why was she able to get the satellite or the time machine to work on the world line where she couldn't find her father and didn't go to the party, versus this world line where she tried to get it to work but wasn't able to, where it was broken. But, okay, I'm going to put that aside for now. Here's another thought I had. We know that... So, let's say we know that on that world line where she didn't find her father and didn't go to the party, presumably she's the reason why it disappeared. She got to the time machine, she used it, she went back in time. That leads me to wonder, if she did that, why didn't Okabe experience reading Steiner in that moment? We know when we send a D-mail back in time that if it's big enough to change something, Okabe feels the change, and he's the only one who remembers what it was like previously. Now, you would think that if Suzuha was able to use that machine and go back in time, you know, that's much more than a D-mail. Certainly she would change things. And if she did change things, how come Okabe didn't experience reading Steiner in that moment? That was a question I was thinking of as I was trying to think this through. So that kind of threw me off a bit, and I'm not sure what it means exactly. Well, one thing it means is that there's still a lot to be revealed, because some of these things I'm not sure all the thoughts I'm having work together just yet. So, like, I don't know if we didn't experience reading Steiner, I don't know if that means that technically multi-world theory is true and it's because she went to a different world line. But man, we just need more info on reading Steiner. That is just a complete mystery. So that was the big thing. The only couple other things, well, a few other things to mention. Mayuri has our phone charger. That might seem minor, but I just wanted to note it down. But the bigger thing we learned from the beginning of the episode last time was that we could only go back 48 hours, which is pretty crazy. We don't know why. Chrisu just said that's the limit, so we're just gonna have to take her word, I guess. And the only other thing that I wanted to keep in mind was that Chrisu said that whatever is causing Mayuri's death might be something less obvious and might be something further back. So, who knows what that could be. In any case, I'm really excited for this episode because we might actually get a lot of answers. Certainly from Suzuha, and that should really... I mean, she could tell us about CERN, she could tell us about time travel in general. So much. Yeah, so let's stop rambling and actually get into it. There's still a big crowd outside, so we exit the building on the side facing away from the station. Suzuha has calmed down a bit, so I start pressing her for answers. Okay, I just had a thought. So it's been, what, a couple weeks since that time machine landed on the side of the building? I mean, presumably the government or the authorities, or heck, even CERN, because we know they have global reach, at least with the Rounders. How come no one has deconstructed it or taken it somewhere else? Or at least started that process? I don't know. That feels kind of weird for some reason. Yeah, Suzuha has calmed down a bit, so I started pressing her for answers. What do you mean, you're John Titor? Exactly what it sounds like. I'm the John Titor who's been posting on @channel. Let's see if we still have... Yep, we still have that. Maybe... This is kind of strange too. If this is her, how come she hasn't followed up on that? Yeah, I'm the John Titor who's been posting on @channel. I thought he was a guy. Suzuha smiles humorlessly. I mean, it was just a username. Anyone can pick any username. It's... Okay. Fooled you. Guess my camouflage worked then.
何から隠れようとしていた？
Who are you hiding from?
セルン。
Really?
ジョン・タイターとして書き込んだことはもしかして？
Those stories you posted, were they?
そう。一部を除いて、ほとんどが事実。
True? Mostly. With a few exceptions. It's those exceptions that bother me.
お前は2036年から来たというのか？あの人工衛星、いや、タイムマシンに乗って。
So, you came from 2036. And that satellite, that's your time machine?
本当は正体明かさないままでいようと思ったんだけどさ。よりによってマシンが故障してるなんて。
I was hoping you wouldn't find out. But my time machine went and broke on me.
完全に私の失策だ。
I really screwed up, huh?
だがタイターのタイムマシンはシボルエに積まれていたはず。
I thought Titor's time machine was loaded on a Chevy.
シボルエ？車だっけ？それどこからの情報？
Chevy? That's a car, right? Where'd you hear that?
2000年に現れたタイターが自分でそう言った。
The Titor in 2000 said so.
2000年？
2000?
それもしかすると別の世界線の私かもね。
That might be me on a different world line.
少なくとも私は2000年には行ってない。2036年からまっすぐここに来た。
At least, I haven't been to 2000. I came straight here from 2036. This is sounding very multi-world-like to me. So, it was someone else? It's true that Titor never posted in 2000. Not on the current world line. It doesn't matter. I can worry about that later.
お前は何を知っている？
What do you know? I press Suzuha for answers, trapping her between me and the wall so she can't escape.
さっき俺とクリスの話を聞いていたな。なぜあんなに慌ててタイムマシンに向かった？お前は何をしようとしたんだ？
You overheard my conversation with Krisu, right? Why did you run to the time machine? What were you trying to do?
私のせいかと思って。
I thought it was my fault.
何？
What?
私がここでのんびりしてたせいでセルンの好きにさせちゃったんだ。
Because I neglected my mission, CERN was able to put their plan in motion.
ねえ、本当なの？
Hey, is it really true? Suzuha suddenly grabs my shoulders.
椎名真由里があと数時間後にセルンに殺されるって本当？
Is it true that CERN kills Sheena Mayuri?
事実だ。俺は5時間後からタイムリープしてきた。
It's true. I time leaped from 5 hours in the future.
タイムリープ？
Time leaped?
君たちのタイムマシン完成したんだ。
So you guys completed your time machine.
それより答えろ。お前のせいとはどういうことなんだ？
I need answers. What do you mean it's your fault? So you guys completed your time machine. That makes it sound like... The way that's phrased makes me think... It makes me think that from whatever world line she's originally from, we were not able to complete the time machine. At least that's kind of how that feels to me when she said that. Something like, so you guys actually were able to finish it, you know, something like that. Maybe. I need answers. What do you mean it's your fault? Suzuha bites her lip and looks away.
全部話すよ。私のこと
I'll tell you everything.
話さなくちゃいけないと思う。君と牧瀬クリスには
I think you need to know. You and Makise Kurisu. Kurisu? Why Kurisu? I'll guess I'll find out if I let Suzuha talk. We should head back to the lab. But first, I offer Suzuha my handkerchief. She looks at me for a second, then takes it and ties it around her burned hand.
Thank you.
Okay. So she neglected her mission, huh? Would her mission be about her father, or was her mission about the time machine? Or maybe neither. She should probably see a doctor about her hand, but there's no time for that. Mayuri's death is approaching. I just hope she's not in too much pain. I wrap a towel around her hand to keep people around us from staring.
おかりんおかえり。すずさんも一緒だったんだね。
Welcome back, Okarin. Suzu-san's with you too. When we get to the lab, Mayuri and Daru are there for some reason. I thought I sent them home. Mayuri gives me a ditzy answer when I ask them.
やっぱりね、スーパー電話レンジちゃんの完成祝いはするべきだよ。
I really thought we should celebrate the birth of Superphone Wave-chan.
ということで、ダルくんと二人で買い出ししてね、帰ってきたの。
So, Daru-kun and I went shopping. I should have known she wouldn't stay away. Ritsu looks as worried as I am. She leans close and whispers in my ear.
どうする？
What do we do?
マユリには絶対事情を知られないようにするんだ。
Make absolutely sure Mayuri doesn't find out. Krisu nods slightly.
何こそこそ話してるん？
What are you guys whispering about?
何度も言うが、完成祝いはしない。
How many times do I have to say it? No party.
おかりん、付き合い悪いよ。
Come on, Okarin. That's no fun.
そういう問題ではなく、
It's not about fun. I glance at Suzuha. She still looks depressed.
すずさん、元気ないけどどうかしたの？
Suzu-san, are you feeling okay?
これから俺とクリスティーナと鈴葉で重要な話をする予定でな。だからお前たちには帰ってもらったのだ。
Suzuha, Christina, and I have important matters to discuss. That's why I asked you to leave for the day.
マユシも聞きたいよ。
Mayushi wants to hear too.
いや、マユシ、空気読んだ方がよくね？
Mayushi? I think he's serious.
でも、すずさん落ち込んでるみたいだし、なんだかね、マユシは心配なのです。
But Suzu-san looks sad. Mayushi's worried.
ごめんね。
Sorry. Suzuha hangs her head and bites her lip. I know she feels responsible for Mayuri's death. But how is she related? That's what I'm here to find out.
椎名真由里と橋田至にも聞いてもらいたい。二人にも関係ある話だと思うし。
Ooh. I want Shina Mayuri and Hashida Itaru to stay. This concerns them too. If Suzuha says so, then I have no objections. But I quietly pull her aside and remind her not to tell them about Mayuri's impending death. Then I quickly explain Suzuha's true identity, that she posted on that channel as John Titor, that the satellite is really a time machine, that she came from the year 2036.
未来人すげえマジパネっす握手してもらっていいですか
A girl from the future? That's awesome. Can I shake your hand?
誰遊びではないんだぞ。
We're not playing around here, Daru.
すずさんは何年生まれなの？
What year were you born?
2017年。
2017.
7年後なんだ。まだ生まれてないのにここにいるんだね。
That's in 7 years. You haven't been born yet, but you're here. Huh? This, that is interesting because due to the nature of our time-leaping technology, we avoid a couple time-traveling paradoxes. I think the grandfather paradox was one of them. Is that the one where if you kill your grandfather, then you're never born? But if you're never born, you could never go back to kill your grandfather. Something like that. So, but by its very nature, time leaping can't do that because it's just, you can't go back before you were born, and it's just memories. You're not physically going back, so you can't meet yourself. All those sorts of things. But interestingly, Suzuha could potentially cause those paradoxes, unless it's the multi-world theory. Because if she's going to a different world line, then yeah, it wouldn't matter. So yeah, those are only. That's if it's a single timeline. You have to worry about those sorts of things. Okay. There's no time to deal with Mayuri's confusion.
それで鈴葉、詳しく話してもらおうか。
Alright, Suzuha. Let's hear it.
って言っても、タイターとして書き込んだ内容がほとんどすべて。
Well, the gist is what I posted on that channel.
私は2036年の未来から来た。その時代はセルンによって支配されたディストピアで、争いは完全に消えたけど、人々は自由を奪われてる。
I came from the future, the year 2036. In my time, the world is a dystopia ruled by CERN. There's no war, no conflict, but no freedom either.
ディストピア？
極端な管理社会、全体主義。マユリがバナナを食べたいと思っても、今日がバナナを食べていい日でなければ食べることは許されない。もし食べたら裁判なしで実刑。そんな社会ってところ？
A society where every activity is administrated by the government. In a dystopia, you're not allowed to eat bananas unless it's banana eating day. If you break that rule, they throw you in jail without a trial.
それは困るよ。マユシーはバナナ大好きなのに。
That's terrible. Mayushi loves bananas. Forget about the bananas.
私はさ、セルンの支配からの解放のために戦うレジスタンスなの。
Yep, that tracks. I'm part of the resistance fighting to free humanity from CERN's control.
この時代にタイムトラベルしてきたのは、そんな今を。
I came to the past to change my present.
君たちからしたら未来になるのか。未来を変えるため。
From your point of view, I guess I should say the future. Change the future. Change the future. She doesn't sound like she's joking.
じゃあ、お父さんを探してるっていうのは、あれは嘘だったのかな。
What about finding your dad? Was that a lie? Suzuha doesn't answer. Does that mean it really was a lie?
セルンは研究機関であって 権力を持つ統治機関じゃない。私は何度もネット上でジョン・タイターにそう訴えてきた。
CERN is a research institution. They don't have political power. I explained that to John Titor several times online. Online?
まさかお前栗ご飯とカメハメハか。
Wait, don't tell me. You're Kurigohan and Kamehameha? Chrisu turns red and looks away.
タイターの中の人が名乗り出たんだから、私も名乗り出ないとフェアじゃないでしょ。
Titor came forward, so it's only fair that I do too.
ならば俺もそれに倣おう。俺は王院京馬というマナで。
In that case, I'll come clean too. I was posting under my true name. Oh, in Kyo.
それは知ってる。
Yeah, they know.
あ、ハモった。
Oh, you harmonized. Suzuha frowns. She must not like having anything in common with Kurisu. She clears her throat and continues.
セルンは2036年でも研究機関だよ。
CERN is still a research institution in 2036.
世界を支配してるのはセルンのバックにいる300人委員会ってやつら。
The world is actually ruled by CERN's secret backers, the Committee of 300.
300人委員会実在したのか。
The Committee of 300. They're real? That name was in CERN's top secret documents.
セルンがタイムマシーン開発に成功したことで、彼らは時間っていう4つ目の次元に干渉できる唯一の存在になった。
When CERN successfully completed their time machine, they became the sole entity capable of interfering with the fourth dimension, time.
その結果、たった2年で世界の秩序は全て塗り替えられたってわけ。
In just 2 years, they remade the world to serve their purpose. Just 2 years? But that's only in objective time. I bet CERN's time travelers spent many decades leaping back and forth across history, building the foundation of CERN's rule. Yeah, maybe at one point, they even installed a fiber optic cable under this lab.
そんでもってマキセ・クリス。
Okay, here we go. That brings us to you, Makise Krisu. Suzuha glares at Krisu.
2036年において君はタイムマシンの母として崇敬されている。
In 2036, you're apotheosized as the mother of the time machine.
数形？
Apotheosized?
日本語で OK。
In Japanese, please.
崇敬、崇め、敬われているってこと。
Apotheosized, as in revered, respected. I think a more common way, well, I mean, deified, at least in English, I feel like deified might be a better word, but that's not necessarily, that's revered and respected, that's not exactly deified, so, but I mean, apotheosis is a similar idea. She keeps using unusual vocabulary, or maybe that's normal vocabulary in 2036.
敬われてって。私が？
Respected? Huh? I am?
2010年にタイムリープの概念を史上初めて発見し、その後もセルンのタイムマシン開発に貢献した人物。それが私の聞かされたマキセ・クリスっていう人間よ。
Yep, that tracks too. In 2010, you pioneer time leap technology. Afterward, you contribute to the development of CERN's time machine. That's what I know about Makise Krisu. Yeah, but you should see here. Well, maybe not. Maybe she didn't know about us, or yeah, maybe she didn't know specifically that we were kidnapped and then forced to work for them. So that, I guess, yeah, that's fine. Is that why she treats Krisu like an enemy?
ならば俺がタイムマシンの父だな。
Then I must be the father of the time machine, right?
岡部倫太郎はテロリスト扱いされてる。
Oh,
結構有名。
Okabe Rintaro is a terrorist in 2036. You're pretty infamous. What? Seriously? I'm a terrorist in the future?
私がセルンでタイムマシン開発に携わるっていうこと？信じられない。
I helped CERN build their time machine? I don't believe it. Well, I mean, you should. I mean, Okabe has already told you what's going to happen, right? You're going to get kidnapped and forced to work on it. That's... Moeka told us directly.
セルンは人体実験までしてるのよ。科学者の風上にも置けないそんな連中のところになんて行くつもりはない。
No, it's not collaboration. You're forced to do it. CERN experiments on people against their will. They were disgraced to scientists everywhere. I would never collaborate with them.
でも未来ではそうなってた。
But that's how it is in the future.
未来の私はなんて言ってた？
How did the future me explain herself?
会ったことは一度もないよ。それに2036年にはもう亡くなってたし。
Oh. I mean, I'm not surprised. If it's the same idea where she was kidnapped and forced to work on the time machine, we already know how callous CERN is. It could very well be something like once she has finished her work, she's not useful anymore and they take her out. But of course, if that were the case, then why would they revere her afterward? I mean, it could just be that they're scientists and they respect her, her ingenuity, her scientific mind, even if they also force her to work for them and kill her afterward. I don't know. I'm not sure. We've never met. By 2036, you're already dead. Sorry.
今さらっとすごいこと言われた。
Well, that's just great.
私って50歳まで生きられないってこと？
I don't even make it to 50?
私の時代では極端に長生きの人と不審な亡くなり方をする若い人の2種類がいた。
In my time, there are two kinds of people. Those who live extremely long lives, those who die young, under suspicious circumstances.
セルンに逆らうような言動をする人はどんどん消されていった。
People who act against CERN are erased.
私も？
They erased me? Suzuha looks into Krisu's eyes. For once, she's not glaring at Krisu.
もしかしたら君もセルンに利用されたのかもしんないね。例えば両親を人質に取られて無理やり研究させられたとか。
Maybe you were being used by CERN too. Maybe they took your parents hostage and forced you to work on their time machine.
嘘。ママが危ないの？
No. Does that mean Mama's in danger? Krisu's mother is in America. It's not terribly difficult to imagine CERN kidnapping her while Krisu is away. After all, I watched Moeka kill Mayuri in cold blood.
ラウンダー。
Rounders.
何それ？
What's that?
セルンの傭兵部隊というところか。
CERN's private army, or something like that. Suzuha nods.
名目上はセルンとは独立した技術調査班って位置づけだけどさ、実態は汚れ役もこなす何でもや。
On paper, they're an independent technology research firm. In reality, they do the dirty work for CERN all over the world. According to Moeka, they have two chief duties. First, to acquire IBM 5100s, the only computers that can access CERN's secret database. Second, to find promising scientists in the field of time travel and force them to cooperate with CERN, or eliminate them if they will not.
やっぱりこの時代にもすでに存在してるんだね。私はずっとラウンダーの連中と戦ってたんだ。
So they already exist. I thought they might. In my time, they're our number one enemy.
汚れ役ってことはまさか誘拐とか暗殺とかも。
Dirty work? Does that mean, like, kidnappings and assassinations? Souza looks to me with a question in her eyes. I shake my head.
私の時代ではそういうこともしてた。今はまだそこまでしてないんじゃないかな。
In my time, yes. But I don't think they've reached that level in this time yet. Daru is visibly relieved.
ねえ天音さん、あなたさっきジョン・タイターとして語ったことはほぼ全て事実だって言ったよね。
Hey, Amane-san, you said that most of what you posted as John Titor is true, right?
そうだよ。
Yeah?
ということは、あなたは世界の構造について把握してるっていうこと？エベレット・ホイーラーモデル、いわゆる多世界解釈で説明できるってあなたは書いていたはず。
Does that mean you know how the universe works? You claimed that the Everett Wheeler model, the many worlds interpretation, is correct.
あれはフェイク情報。セルンに目をつけられないためのカムフラージュ。
That was a lie. Camouflage so that CERN wouldn't target me.
本当の中に嘘を一つ混ぜると、途端に全体が嘘くさく見えるんだ。
If I mix one lie into the truth, then the bad apple spoils the barrel.
じゃあ把握はしてないのね。
So you don't know?
してるよ。2036年ではさ、世界の構造は解明されてるんだ。多世界解釈じゃなかった。
I do. In 2036, or by 2036, scientists have successfully modeled the structure of the world, and it's not the many worlds interpretation.
本当に詳しく教えて。
Really? Tell me.
アトラクタフィールド。
Attractor fields.
そう。岡部倫太郎にはメールで直接教えたよね。
Right. I told you by mail, didn't I?
それどんな解釈なの？
What sort of model is that?
世界は世界線とアトラクタフィールドでできてる。
The world is made up of world lines and attractor fields. Souza walks over to Mayuri's sewing table and picks up a ball of red yarn. She holds one end of the yarn and drops the ball to the floor, then holds about a meter of yarn in front of her face.
世界の構造はより糸みたいなものなの。
The world is like this piece of yarn.
いくつもの可能性世界線が重ね合わせの状態になってて、常に無限個に枝分かれしてってるわけ。
Countless possible world lines exist side by side, branching out to infinity.
全体を見ると一本に見えるけど、ミクロなレベルだとより細い糸が絡み合うように世界を構成してる。
From a distance, it looks like a single string. But when you look closer, the string is actually made up of individual threads woven together.
そして最終的にはそれらの細い糸は一つに収束する。経過は違うけど結果は同じになる。
At the end, those threads converge on a single point. The paths are different, but the destination is the same.
それって決定論じゃないの？
Isn't that determinism? Determinism. The school of philosophy that states that every event is predetermined by previous events. The past determined the present. The present determines the future. Even though we may think that we are acting of our own free will, in truth we are only following a predetermined path. Those who subscribe to determinism often cite the thought experiment of Laplace's demon. For, quote, an intellect which at a certain moment would know all forces that set nature in motion, and all positions of all items of which nature is composed, nothing would be uncertain, and the future, just like the past, would be present before its eyes, unquote. Pierre Simon Laplace. Close. This model is a little looser.
多世界解釈とコペンハーゲン解釈のいいとこ取りって感じ。
You could say it cherry picks from the many worlds interpretation and the Copenhagen interpretation.
分岐はするが結末は同じ。ということは、世界は結局一つなのか。
If all branches all lead to the same place, does that mean there's only one world in the end?
そういうこと。
Exactly.
で、その収束範囲内にある世界線の束がアトラクタフィールド。
The bundle of world lines that share a point of convergence is called an attractor field.
アトラクタフィールドもたくさんある。
There are also many attractor fields.
このより糸はアトラクタフィールドアルファ。範囲内にあるのはアルファ世界線。
This string is attractor field alpha. The threads are alpha world lines. Suzuha then cuts meter lengths of blue, yellow, and white yarn.
青がアトラクタフィールドベータで、黄色がガンマで、白がデルタとして。
Blue is beta, yellow is gamma, and white is delta.
それぞれベータ世界線やガンマ世界線やデルタ世界線を範囲内にたくさん内包してる。それこそ何億っていう数をね。
Each is made up of countless beta world lines, gamma world lines, or delta world lines. She twists the different colored strings together, then stretches them out as one fat, multicolored string.
アトラクタフィールドもこんな風にいくつも重ね合わせ状態になってる。
Attractor fields are superpositioned like this.
それぞれのアトラクタフィールドごとでは起きる事象も収束する結果も違う。
In each attractor field, the world lines converge on a different result.
干渉性は喪失してるわけ。それぞれが独立を保ってる。
They don't interfere with each other. Each attractor field is independent of the others.
元をたどれば一つだし、アトラクタフィールドもさらにマクロな視点で見れば収束するけど、そのスパンは何百年っていうレベルなんだ。より大きな分岐と見ればいいかな。
Of course, they all diverged from a common point somewhere in the past, and they will all converge again at some point in the future, but that takes many hundreds of years. No voice for this line. You can think of the attractor fields as very long world lines.
エロゲに例えたらどういうこと？教えて、エロい人。
Can you compare it to an eroge? Teach me, oh erotic one.
エロい人なんていない。
There's no erotic one here.
いや、エロゲに例えるのは間違っていない。ヒロイン個別ルートがアトラクタフィールドで、その中に出てくる細かい選択肢がそれぞれの世界線だ。
No, he's right. It is like an eroge. Each heroine's route is like an attractor field, and the small choices within are the individual world lines.
しかし最後には必ずトゥルールートに入ってグランドエンディングを迎える。
But at the end, they all enter the true route for the grand ending.
共通ルートが長いか短いか、それが問題だ。ちなみに僕だったらせっかくだから妹キャラのアトラクタフィールドを選ぶぜ。
The only difference is the length of the common parts. By the way, I'd choose the little sister's attractor field. Okay, Daru, thanks for that.
勝手にしろ。
Whatever.
ダメだこいつら。早くなんとかしないと。
You guys are hopeless. Better do something quick.
私にはそのエロゲってのがよくわかんないんだけど。
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
真剣に受け取らなくていいわよ。
Just ignore them. Let me get this straight. The reason I can't save Mayuri is that her death is the event upon which this attractor field converges? But that means the world really is killing Mayuri.
でもさ、それじゃ未来を変えるなんて無理じゃね？結局収束しちゃうんでしょ？何をしたって結果は同じじゃん。
But then, isn't it impossible to change the future? It always converges in the end, right? No matter what you do, the result is the same. It does sound like that, but then, what would the point be of Suzuha coming back in time? Surely they think there's some reason to do that, right? That's right. That's why Mayuri dies no matter how many times I leap.
今、私たちがいるアトラクタフィールドアルファの範囲外に出るの。
We have to escape Attractor Field Alpha.
範囲外。
Escape?
つまり、アトラクタフィールドベータにあるベータ世界線に飛び移るってこと。
In other words, we're going to jump to a world line in Attractor Field Beta. So don't change the past. Just jump to an even farther world line where CERN isn't a thing. Is that it? And she said before that, I think, what was it she said? She's only been able to get past, she hasn't been able to get past 1% or something like that. Is that what she said? Yeah, you might be the one who can guide us to a world line beyond 1%, across the wall that divides attractor fields. I mean, that's interesting to think about. So, I guess, if I'm trying to think about what she's saying, Attractor Field Alpha is a bundle of world lines in that pretty much all have CERN ruling the world, right? Is that it? And so, they're thinking we need to escape to a farther world line, to a different bundle of world lines. And they're calling that bundle Attractor Field Beta. And presumably, if they are getting to this other attractor field, or if they want to escape to that attractor field, presumably there's no CERN there. Otherwise, you know, you'd be what is it? What's the phrase? Out of the pan into the fire, out of the fire into the pan. I forget. Basically, it wouldn't matter it wouldn't be escaping if you're just going to another world line or bundle of world lines that also have CERN. So presumably there's another group of world lines that don't have CERN. Or something like that. But that raises an interesting idea, because even if there are separate bundles of world lines, so within attractor fields there are moments of convergence. I guess, like, say for one thing, it's like Mayuri's death is a convergence point. But I'm wondering, even if you go to another bigger, or if you're able to escape one bundle of world lines, attractor field alpha, and say you get to attractor field beta, you know, presumably that's another set of world lines, and they're going to have their own convergence points. But do the various attractor fields also converge? Like, is it just a difference of degree? So, you know, there could be even bigger convergence points where the different fields all converge and then go back out again. At least I think that's my understanding. But what I'm trying to think of is, so, you know, we have this bundle of world lines, attractor field alpha, this is the CERN one. And if there's beta that doesn't have CERN, would those two still converge at some point? Maybe in the far future? Maybe instead of hundreds of years, maybe it's thousands of years they'll converge back or something like that? Does that make sense? Maybe they'll explain more. In other words, we're going to jump to a world line attractor field beta.
干渉できないんじゃ。
I thought attractor fields couldn't interfere with each other.
アトラクタフィールド同士が完全に分岐しちゃったらね。でもまさに分岐しようとしている瞬間なら。
Attractor fields are normally separate, but if we go to the instant they diverge,
分岐する瞬間。それが今だっていうこと？
the instant they diverge? Is that now?
ダイバージェンスが大きく変わる分岐点は2010年にあるって私は教わった。
I was taught that a major divergence occurs in 2010.
2000年や1991年並みのものすごい大分岐が起きて、アトラクタフィールドレベルで枝分かれするって。
This year, an earth-shattering event causes divergence at the attractor field level. The last time such a divergence occurred was in the year 2000, and before that, 1991. That is not hundreds of years. But that may take hundreds of years. No, yeah, that's definitely not hundreds of years. That's decades. So what's going on there?
なんで2000年と1991年なの？
What happened in those years?
どっちも世界規模の大きな事件があったじゃん。
Events that changed the face of the world.
事件？
Huh?
1991年はソ連崩壊だな。だが2000年は2001年なら同時多発テロがあったが。
1991 was the collapse of the Soviet Union, right? But what happened in 2000? 2001 had the 9/11 attacks.
2000年は2000年問題の年だよ。
The year 2000 problem. What, Y2K? Really?
はあ？あれって騒がれた割には結局大した問題は起きなかったぞ。
Y2K? But that was just hype. Nothing happened.
それは今私たちがいるこのアルファ世界線が2000年問題が起きなかった可能性世界だから。
Ooh. That's kind of interesting. That's because the alpha world line we're on represents a world where Y2K didn't occur. What a fascinating idea. Imagine, wow. Imagine you're living in a world where everything seems normal and fine, and then you find out that your reality, your timeline, world line, whatever you want to call it. Well, first, imagine there are, multiple world lines. There's that first. But imagine that you're the odd one out, where in most other world lines, disaster occurs, and yet you're in the lucky one. You know? I mean, I can recall reading about some of the moments during the Cold War where we were extremely close to nuclear war. Where we had, we know that the keys were in the ignition, for launching the missiles. I think one was Cuban Missile Crisis. There was one with a Soviet submarine. And then there was another where the Soviets had they put in a new system to detect missiles, and it malfunctioned or glitched or something like that, and the man in charge refused to authorize retaliation. And you know, it's those sort of it's those little counterfactuals, you know, where you think, well, what if, you know? But just the idea that imagining that most timelines, say using my example, in most timelines nuclear war breaks out. And yet for some reason we're in the lucky one where no nuclear war occurs. You know, that's, I don't know how to think. That's such a, it's, I almost wanted to say creepy, but yeah, I feel like that could give you chills almost. Like I very nearly got chills there thinking about that. Plus, I don't know what the scale is here. When we talk about bundles of world lines, how many are we talking about? Are we talking about tens of world lines? Hundreds? Thousands? Infinite? Because, you know, depending on how many there are, being the lucky one gets more and more incredible. I don't know. Sorry, I just went off on a tangent there. So in other words, there are worlds where it did occur?
そして2010年
And that brings us to 2010.
今年って何か大きな事件起きたかな
Did something big happen this year?
今年最大の事件は
What else could it be? Suzuha looks toward the development room.
人類史上初のタイムマシン開発成功以外に何があるっての？
But the creation of humanity's first time machine.
そっか、そうだよね、すごい。
Oh yeah, now I get it. Wow.
もう一つ疑問が。
One more question. Krisu keeps plowing ahead. I guess that's what makes her a scientist.
重ね合わせ状態にある世界線ってパラレルワールドってわけじゃないんでしょ？
Yeah, this is, I mean, it's, from what she's described so far, it's something like, it's multi-world, but not technically multi-world, or something like that. It's kind of, as she said, it's kind of cherry-picking a couple interpretations. It feels almost like having your cake and eating it too, almost. Parallel world, a universe that exists separate from ours. It is believed that some parallel worlds may be strikingly similar to ours, even containing duplicates of ourselves.
違うよ。あくまで可能性世界線が同時に存在しているだけ。
No. Ultimately, they're just possibilities that exist simultaneously.
そうだとして世界線間の観測はどうやるの？神の視点でも持たなきゃ無理なんじゃない？
Then, how do you observe differences between world lines? Wouldn't you need a god's eye view to do that?
普通ならね。でも
Normally. However, Suzuha looks at me. Oh, are we gonna be... Is it gonna be something like, we're the leader of the resistance? Or something? Don't tell me.
リーディングしたいなか。
そういうネーミングなの？岡部倫太郎には世界線を越えて観測ができるっていう特殊な力がある。そうよね。
Is that what you call it? Okabe Rintaro, you have the power to observe changes across world lines, correct?
ああ、
Yeah,
それが鍵になる。
that's the key.
君の特殊な力が世界をセルンの支配っていう呪縛から解き放つ鍵。
Your power is the key to freeing the world from CERN's rule. Okay, Suzuha, you say that, but that's not what you said earlier. You said you want to escape.
今の君は神に匹敵する存在なんだよ。
You have a power that rivals God himself. Don't tell that to the Chuny, please.
俺の力が
My power.
アトラクタフィールドアルファの範囲外、ベータ世界線へ到達すれば収束する結果も変わる。
If you escape the alpha attractor field and reach a beta world line, then the result will change. What does that mean? The result will change? I feel a shiver of excitement.
助けられるのか
So there's hope. I can save Mayuri? Uzuha nods firmly. Then I must do it. I have no choice.
ちょっと待って。
Wait a second. Krisu, however, is not so enthusiastic.
それ本当に全部正しいの？天音さんの妄想が混じってる可能性は？
How do we know this is all true? What if Amane-san is just spouting delusions?
なに？妄想なんか混じってないよ。
What? I'm not spouting delusions or anything like that.
落ち着け。別に喧嘩を売ってるわけじゃない。
Calm down, I'm not trying to pick a fight.
ただ疑問なのよ。そもそもどうしてあなたは岡部が持ってる力とか2010年の岡部や私がこの秋葉原にいるって知ってたの？
But I still have questions. 1. How do you know about Okabe's power? 2. How did you know Okabe and I were in Akihabara in 2010?
2017年生まれにしては詳しすぎじゃない？
Don't you know a little too much for someone born in 2017? Unless Okabe is the resistance leader and he told her. She has a point. Everyone looks to Suzuha.
父さんの遺書にそうあった。
It was written in Dad's will. His will?
遺書ってどういうこと？
What do you mean?
私がタイムトラベルを決意したのは父さんの遺書を読んだから。
His will was what made me decide to time travel. Oh. So this wasn't a whole resistance plan, it was something you just did?
父さんは私が所属してるレジスタンスの設立メンバーの一人で、セルンとは別にタイムマシンの研究をしてたの。
My dad was one of the founding members of the resistance. He hid from CERN and researched time travel on his own.
未来を変えるための研究をね。
He wanted to change the future.
でも父さんもセルンに殺されて。
But CERN killed him.
だから私は父さんの意志を継いでここにいる。
That's why I'm here to fulfill his dream.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry. Suzuha doesn't look at Krisu. She still seems to have a grudge against her. Krisu would never actively cooperate with CERN. I know that, but I just can't say it in front of Suzuha. For some reason, Suzuha really does see Krisu as responsible for the problems of the future. But if that's the case, why doesn't Suzuha just kill Krisu? Wouldn't that change the future too? Maybe she can't. World lines converge. No matter how hard I struggle, Mayuri dies. Similarly, it may be impossible for Suzuha to kill Krisu, no matter how much she may want to. Suzuha clears her throat as if to change the subject.
2010年の秋葉原、ここでタイムマシンが作られたことでセルンのタイムマシン開発が加速した。
Akihabara 2010, the time machine created here accelerates CERN's own time machine research.
それを阻止する方向に歴史を導くことが必要なんだよ。
We have to stop that from happening in order to guide history in a new direction.
そしてどうやって？
Stop it? How?
セルンは俺たちの存在に気づいている。
CERN already knows about us. That's clear from Moeka's attack.
原因は君たちが一番最初にタイムマシンを使った時のメールデータだと思う。父さんはそう予測してた。
Dad believed that the ultimate cause was the very first email you sent with your time machine.
メールデータハッキングがバレたのではなく
An email? It wasn't because they caught us with hacking?
だから僕のハッキングはバレてないって言ってんだろ。
Like I said, nobody can catch my hacking.
でもメールデータって
If we're talking about the very first email, then it was the one about you, Chrisu. Specifically about your death.
あれじゃないかな。クリスちゃんが死んじゃったっていうオカリンのメール。
Nice memory, Mayuri. I know. Wasn't it the email Ocarine sent that Chris-chan died? Right. The email I sent Daru right after Dr. Nakabachi's conference.
ああ、あれね。
Oh, that. Back then, we hadn't yet realized that the phone wave name subject to change was a time machine.
その時空を超えたメールもきっと捉えられてる。
CERN probably intercepted that email and realized what it meant.
あの時からもうバレていたと
They were already onto us back then? Come to think of it, the first time I met Moeka was the day after I sent that email.
泳がされてたんだな、僕ら。
We really jumped into the deep end, huh?
マユシーはね、平泳ぎが得意だよ。
Mayushi's good at breaststroke. That's nice, Mayuri, thank you.
はいはい。水中 M 字開脚、水中 M 字開脚。
Alright, then do a sexy underwater pose.
しかし一体どうやって補足をメールなんて世界中で1日に何億という数が送られているんだぞ
But how did they intercept our email? Hundreds of millions of emails are sent around the world each day.
セルンはエシュロンのネットワークを利用して世界規模でタイムマシンについての情報を収集してるの。
CERN uses the Echelon network to collect communications pertaining to time travel research worldwide. Echelon. According to conspiracy theorists, Echelon is an advanced signals interception system based in the United States and operated by the National Security Agency NSA. However, American authorities have never publicly admitted to Echelon's existence, and no proof that it exists has ever been found. Participating countries allegedly include the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, but not France. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Not France is not included in that. As an ally of the United States, Japan can allow the construction of domestic Echelon stations in exchange for access to intercepted data. The Elephant Cage antenna array, located at Misawa Air Base in Aomori, Japan, is rumored to be one such station. These stations are said to intercept, collect, and analyze a wide range of signals, including private cell phone transmissions.
エシュロンだと本当に実在していたのか
Echelon. It really exists? As an expert on conspiracies, I understand the implications, and they terrify me. No one else seems to get what Suzuha's saying, though.
セルンはさ、自分たち以外のタイムトラベル研究についてエシュロンで常にアンテナを張って監視してるんだよ。
Echelon sees everything. Any transmission that even hints at time travel is filtered and sent to CERN. For example, an email that appeared to have come from the future.
だから捉えられた最初のメールデータをセルンのコンピューターから消去しなきゃ。
Is that what's in the IBN database? We need to find the record of that email in CERN's database and delete it.
そうすればセルンは君たちには気づかない。タイムマシンが2034年に完成することもなくなる。それどころかタイムマシンの研究そのものが頓挫するかも。
If you do that, then CERN will never know you exist. Their time machine won't be completed in 2034. If we're lucky, the program may be shut down entirely. In other words, deleting that data will take us to the attractor field where CERN doesn't build a time machine.
でもセルンのデータベースはハックしたけど、それっぽいデータはなかったような。
There wasn't any data like that when we hacked CERN's database.
IBN 5100。
Yep. The IBN 5100.
おお、
そうか IBN5100 で構築されていたあのデータベースか
Of course. CERN's IBN 5100 database.
あの中にきっとエシュロンから集めたデータが蓄積されてる。
That's probably where they store the data from Echelon. So that's what it is.
だるよなぜもっと早く IBN5100 を使わなかったのだ
Damn it, Daru. Why didn't we use the IBN 5100 earlier?
いや、使わなかったのだとか言われても、そもそも持ってないし。
We never had one?
何を言っている俺が手に入れてきたではないか
What are you talking about? I got one, remember?
はい。
Huh? Oh, right. That was on a different world line. On this world line, I never found the IBN 5100.
私の役割はさ、君たちに IBN5100 を託すことなんだよ。
Really? That was your mission? Okay. My mission is to make sure you acquire an IBN 5100. I feel like you haven't been that helpful with that, but maybe you have in the background and we just don't know about it.
持っているのか
You have one. Suza shakes her head.
1975年に行って手に入れる。
Ah, that explains that. I'm going to 1975 to obtain one. 1975. The year the IBN 5100 went to market. I know because the John Tidor in 2000 said that this was his mission. Was that John Tidor Suzuha too? Anyway, if Suzuha can get us an IBN 5100, then we can leave this attractor field and jump to a beta world line, where CERN never finds us and their time machine is never completed. Mayuri won't have to die.
よしならば全は急げだ鈴葉には今すぐにでも1975年に飛んでもらおう
Alright? We need to move fast. How soon can you leave, Suzuha?
そうしたいのは山々なんだけど。
I was trying to leave when you caught me, but... Suzuha bows her head apologetically. I look at her burnt hand. She's hiding it from Mayuri and Daru, but I can see the blood staining my handkerchief. It hurts to look at. Maybe we should get her to a doctor.
タイムマシンは壊れているんだったな
Right. Your time machine's broken.
直せないの
Can you fix it?
無理。私は父さんが作ったものに乗ってきただけだから。
No? I just write it. My dad's the one who built it.
仕組みそのものはマニュアルを完璧に暗記してるけど。
I've memorized the manual, so I know how it works, but... That doesn't mean she knows how to repair it, and there's no guarantee that a time machine from 2036 can be repaired with today's technology.
タイムリープマシンで遡るのは天音さんのタイムマシンが壊れる前へ
Maybe we can use the time leap machine to go back before Amane-san's time machine broke.
っていうか、タイムリープマシン使う気なん？実験しないってことでファイナルアンサーじゃなかった？
Wait, you're going to use the time leap machine? Wasn't the plan not to experiment? I still haven't told Daru about my time leaping. There's no time to explain.
場合によっては使うそれで鈴葉よいつ壊れたかわかるか
We'll use it if the situation demands. Do you know when it broke, Suzuha?
ううん。きっとこの前の深夜に降った雨だよ。
Ah, okay.
マシンの中水浸しになってたから密閉されてるはずなのに。
Okay, so during that, so here, this probably answers my question. So I asked that, you know, on the day she looked for her father, couldn't find him and wasn't invited to the party, she was able to use it. So it must have rained after that. Okay. It was probably when it rained a few days ago. It was supposed to be airtight, but the inside was all wet when I checked it today.
あんだけ派手にビルに激突してんだし、その時に穴でも開いたんじゃね？
Maybe the time machine was punctured when you crashed it into Radicon.
あれは激突したんじゃないよ。座標計算にわずかな誤差があったせいであそこに出現しちゃっただけ。
That wasn't a crash. The coordinates were slightly off, so it just appeared there. How were you able to get it correctly in the you were able to get it correctly the first time. I wonder what the deal is there.
あのマシンって結構不安定なんだよね。
It's not exactly the most stable machine.
それで雨が降ったのは何日だった？
Anyone remember when it rained?
10日の朝、夜明け前には降っていた。
Oh, that's not good. We can only go back to the 11th, right? The morning of the 10th just before dawn. The time leap machine can only cover 48 hours in a single leap. And the time leap machine was completed today on the 13th at 2 p.m. That means we can't go farther back than 2 p.m. on the 11th.
ダメだ。タイムリープマシンじゃ届かない。
Damn. We can't get there with the time leap machine. I thought we had a glimmer of hope.
直す努力はしてみるべきだと思うわけだが。
I think we should try to fix it.
そうだよ。タイムマシンならね、時間はあんまり関係ないもん。
Yeah, it's a time machine, so we have plenty of time, right? Krisu, Suzuha, and I say nothing. We know, in less than 2 hours, Mayuri will die. Okay, I feel music just cut out. Characters are kind of done talking. I'm going over time a bit. I think I'm going to call it now. But before I do, I want to throw out a crazy thought I just had. It's one of those things where you think it's probably wrong, but it would be really cool if I got it right. So, here's the thing I want to try and say. Okay, so Suzuha said that the reason she's coming back here is due to her dad's will. And her dad is the one who made the time machine. Okay, so, and in the will, her dad mentioned that he thought that the reason that CERN is able to find us is because of that first D-mail. And it's also why she knew where we would be in 2010. So this is, whoever her dad is someone who is intimately familiar with time machine technology, someone who knows our whereabouts, and even more than our whereabouts, knew precisely about certain events that had occurred with us, including the sending of the first D-mail. Let's also think back. She knew when she went to find her father, she went to a time travel meeting, that was happening. That she said her daughter had, or that she said her father had attended. Okay, who is the one person that we know that was going to go to that conference, that knows us and knows what we were doing and is familiar with the time machine that we're building? It's Daru. Daru was going there. So after hearing all that, I have a crazy theory that maybe Daru might be Suzuha's dad. So that's the thought. That's the theory. Now, of course, there's a big caveat to this, or a big caveat might not be the best word there. There's a big issue here, which is why in the world wouldn't Suzuha recognize her dad? We did hear that her dad is dead. And interestingly, we've heard what's going on with Okabe and Krisu in the future. Krisu is apparently dead after having completed the time machine technology. Okabe is apparently still active as a terrorist. But we didn't hear what Daru's still doing. Um, so I don't know. It could be something like he died when she was very young, and so she never got to know him, and she only got things like his will and stuff like that. If that's the case, then I think that would give more credence to Daru being her dad because, well, because it's still a bit of a stretch, I think, because wouldn't you at least have pictures or something, or wouldn't someone tell you? Um, or not even pictures. Why wouldn't she recognize his name? And why does she have a different name? Like, Daru's name is Hashida Itaru. Wouldn't her name be Hashida Suzuha then? That's the question. So there are definitely a few. There's a few holes in my theory that um I think make it. You could probably topple the theory if just a few of the things are known. But I just wanted to make that guess. I wanted to throw it out there because it would just be, I don't know, for some reason that just when the thought entered my head, I don't know, it tickled me a bit. I thought it was kind of funny. So I'm gonna throw that out there. Um, I'm gonna call it here. I have to before I play again. I'm gonna need to go back and listen to Suzuha's whole explanation on the whole world lines and stuff because I'm not sure I entirely understood all that. If you want to try and maybe give me some tips or try to, I think I ask a few questions during the explanation. If you want to try and help me out there, I think that's fine. But I'll try to go back over it again just to see if I understand it because I think I understand it, but there were a few things that were said later that make me think I don't understand it. So in any case, I've been the Worm. This has been Steins Gate. It's getting pretty crazy. I'm sure things are just going to be getting crazier from now on. So hope to see you next time. Bye bye.